description of the concepts, right? And now, dear friends, you have been here for 6-7 hours since yesterday morning. What has been told to you, does it not sound utterly familiar? I mean, does it not sound as if it's been entirely just lifted out of Natyashastra? This is God's own truth. You see, about 4 years ago, at about middle of the night, my telephone rang up, and a very shrill voice on the phone said, wake up, professor. You know, there is a Harvard professor who has totally misused the Natya Shastra and who is talking about it in his own words. I said, lady, who are you? Where are you speaking from? So she said, my name is Mercedes. I said, in India, Mercedes is a car. And how is that a car is speaking? She said, no, you foolish professor. Mercedes is a common name in the Spanish language for women, and I am calling from Mexico. And I am so and so, and this is what has happened. I said, all right, thank you very much. I had just fallen asleep, and I'll give you a call tomorrow morning or some convenient time. We'll talk, and in the meantime, I'll explore about what you have said. So, next morning, I did a Google search, as we all do now, to find out the truth about others. It's the common man's spy, the Google. So you can make out where is our president and which part of the president house by Google satellite. Anyway, I did it, and this is what I found. What our young friend just talked about. Professor Howard wrote a book in which there were first, in his earlier book, 4 kinds of intelligences. And when the book became very popular, then he made it into 5 kinds. Then in yet another book, because in America you make a lot of money if your book is successful. And then they became 6, 7, 8, and as she said, there is also now an existential intelligence. The idea is very simple. These are different vibhavas. And we all know, if you are going to do Bharatnatyam, you have to have a musical intelligence. You have to have a kinetic intelligence. Kinetic is an English word which comes from the Greek word kinesis. Kinesis means movement. So kinetic. The intelligence of how to move. A child learns how to move. Child first sits up, then looks around, then walks on 4, and then gets up, and finally, after walking a lifetime on 2 legs, walks on 3 legs with a walking stick, and then perhaps again on 4s before death. That is learning the different kinetic positions. That is kinetic intelligence. The child learns it for life. You can learn it for football. You can learn it for some other gymnastic activity. You can learn it for Bharatnatyam, Odissi, etc. In the Natya Shastra, the Angik Abhinaya is well defined. So when we have the Angik as a terminology, then we have one of the multiple intelligences. Don't think that I am like a fundamentalist Pandit trying to say everything is in our Shastras. There are many people who say, yes, everything is in the Indian texts. All knowledge is there in the Vedas. I'm not trying to put up that image. I'm only asking you a specific question. Is kinetic intelligence anything different from angik abhinaya? Yes or no? It's all before you. I have not invented anything. Then, Vachik. Satvik is a particular kind of angik, or it is psychosomatic. What is Satvik abhinaya? When you are deeply possessed by an emotion, like great fear, then the anubhavas or the consequences of that emotion are on your face and also on your body. The Satvik abhinaya is expressed by swed and romanch and vaivarnya and the adhara kampana, etc., etc. So it is a subtle version of the angik, but psychological. So that again is a kind of intelligence. After all, he is using the word intelligence for the skill of using that particular channel. Isn't that so? What he is saying is that the mind can use this channel. The mind and the body and the self can use this channel. How to move the body when you have to dance or to play football. And some people will have a greater kinetic intelligence and hence they will turn out to be better dancers. I'm sure there are people who come to Guruji and they just cannot dance and Guruji says, please forget it, go back home. Because you cannot do angik abhinaya. Right? And Howard Johnson will say, because you do not have kinetic intelligence. I don't see really any difference. I would like to debate it with Professor Howard one day, preferably in Harvard University itself, in his department. I hope the day comes soon. The point which I am driving at is simply this, that these texts have existed, that these texts have been translated into English, that these texts have been taught and discussed and written about in volumes in departments of Western University. And yet people come up with theories and structures which are based exactly on these ideas of the text, but they just don't mention the terminology or the name. So, this was an aside. This is just an example of how our texts have been used and are being used by others, because we are not studying them, expanding them further, creating something else with them. Now we come back to our original intelligence. From multiple intelligences we come back to them. So we did the bhav, vibhav and anubhav. And I hope you have a clear understanding of this whole thing. And this is the point at which we come to the Rasa Sutra. Tatra vibhavanubhav vyabhichar samyogat ras nishpatti. So the question is, this is how the ras nishpatti takes place. Now I am going to read from the 6th chapter, the Rasa Sutra, and then also the illustrative or the Drishtanta Sutra. Because the Drishtanta, the Upama, is always useful in explaining the concept. And let us see what is given here in the Rasa Sutra or in the Drishtanta Sutra. I'll take a minute to, this particular book that I am using has Abhinava Bharati in it. And this is the place where Abhinav Gupta has written the most expensive commentary. So from the commentary we'll have to search out the sutra as to where in the pages of the commentary the sutra is lost. The term rasa, which we have defined, is a consequence. And they say that the consequence of a combination or a sanyog. So the question arises, the important question is, what is this sanyog like? Where exactly does this sanyog take place? And how does it take place? As a matter of fact, there are so many differences and different opinions about how this sanyog takes place, and this is called actually the interpretation of the Rasa Sutra. All right, now what is the Drishtanta? The sutra is given, very simple, Tatra Vibhavanubha. Ko Drishtanta, can we give an example? Atra aha. Here we can say, Yatha hi nana vyanjana aushadhi dravya sanyogat ras nishpattihi tatha nana bhav upagamat ras nishpattihi. So the first part of illustration says that just as nana vyanjana aushadhi dravya sanyogat, in cooking, in food, just as you use different kinds of dravyas or material, dal and other pulses and various dravyas you use, and then you use different spices, flavors, aushadhi. Once you mix those spices so that the food is no longer bland, and once you cook in the right combination, then you are able to cook tasty food. Similarly, when there are nana bhavas, not just one bhava. If in theatre there is only one domineering emotion, only one, then you will say, well, it's boring. You say it's very sentimental. Like some of these serials which we have where women are fighting and crying all the time, Melodrama. The English term melodrama, thank you, it defines it very, very well. Melodramatic. Just one emotion, it goes on and on and on. Of course, some people love it, they sit and shed tears. That's why the serials are selling so much. But you don't consider it to be good art. So, nana bhava upagamat ras nishpatti. Further explanation. Yatha hi gud adibhi dravyair vyanjana